I really don't know how to explain this, so I will give this my best shot. I've beaten this game backwards, forwards, and even without moving. But today we try something even more interesting than that. So today we ask the question, can you beat Minecraft with a rocket launcher? Using commands, I've turned every bow and crossbow into an effective explosive weapon to use at my discretion. The rules themselves are quite simple. After getting any ranged weapon, I can only use that for the rest of the run. That is basically it, and any other rules I'll explain if I need to. So spawning in, everything seems pretty normal. Well, I say normal, but I spawned in a tree. Anyways, I try to find a village, but jumping ahead a bit, I don't till late in the game. I did pass by the absolute carnage left behind when I tested the weapon, but other than that, that's about it. I decided it was in my best interest to give up the search and start harvesting wood. Unfortunately, it was too little too late, and the first night was here. It's around here I made the first of two startling discoveries. It turns out I'm not the only person with high powered explosives. I found this out when I got blindsided by a local bone boy and nearly got reduced to a paste. Luckily, the skeleton missed by a mile and only lost half of my health bar. This is where I started using my sword to take out nearby spider population. Yes, you could say this invalidates the run, but I didn't see any other option. After finally gathering enough string to craft a bow, I got my first nuclear weapon. Despite the fact I only had 8 rockets in my arsenal, I did not hesitate to launch 2 of them at a nearby skeleton. Something I did notice here was that if an arrow hits a mob, it doesn't explode. I decided that in the spirit of the run, I would not use this to my advantage, and if you see this anywhere else in the run, it was an accident. I decided not to break the first rule of Minecraft this run and instead use my rockets to dig a hole down to a cave. However, this was an even worse idea than digging straight down because I had to give up halfway through due to lack of arrows. After finding my way in a cave, I used my RPG to clear out its inhabitants. Sadly, I managed to break the second rule of Minecraft, which is don't launch a volatile missile into your toe. After being turned into man flavored jelly for the first time in this run, I made my way back to all my stuff in the caves. The best course of action was to take things extremely slow and avoid shooting the bow, otherwise, I would lose a lot of health. Unfortunately, my low health and low hunger caught up with me, and I ran out of food. A lot of thinking and struggling later, I ended up resorting to briefly turning on peaceful to regen my health, and then going back to normal. This is a common tactic I use on most of my difficult runs, and the reason my health and hunger is filled in these next clips. Back to the caves, I started using blocks to cover me from nearby enemy rocketeers as I mined iron. I then made myself a small hole to hide in and cooked my first batch of iron. Also, I forgot to mention, but I applied night vision to help myself to help you guys see. Much of the same sort of patterns passed, and I gathered enough iron to make a full set of armor. I made a second hiding hole, this time with diamonds, and smelt the last of my iron. I decided to craft a pickaxe with the diamonds, seeing as a weapon would be useless and I needed obsidian later. After crafting my armor, I was finally able to return to the surface. On the surface, I once again started to search for a village, this time not stopping until I did. Thankfully, a trip to a nearby savannah turned up a village, and after convincing one of the locals to supply me with arrows, I began chopping down trees. Just as a bit of advice, when working with villagers, keep your long-term goals in mind and pick your emerald trader accordingly. Since I'm doing a speedrun, a Fletcher is the perfect choice for me. After trading all my newly crafted sticks for emeralds, I bought loads of arrows, and it's around here that the pace of the run changed. Before this, I only used arrows if they were absolutely necessary, but now I have virtually unlimited supplies. I used my newfound power to convert the savannah into a barren wasteland, and then harvested all the wood. I then bought more arrows and a few crossbows before heading out. I also took out the golem for good measure, but he never attacked me. The only reason I mentioned this is because it'll be important later. Now that I have more explosives than a bomber jet, I decided it was finally time to head to everyone's favorite hellscape. Sadly, this is when the run fell apart. After finding a lava pool, I realized that I didn't have a bed, so I went sheep hunting. I then managed to die due to the fact an arrow blew up as soon as I released it into the world. I'm not sure what caused this, so I teleported myself to a lava pool again. If you're upset I cheated, don't worry because this comes back to haunt me later. Back at the lava pool, I construct the portal as well as harvest some extra obsidian, just in case. On another side of things, I begin looking for a fortress. This is where my second glitch death happens. I was bridging to another fortress when my game crashed. Loading back in, I'm instantly killed by lava and all my stuff is gone. If you want my real-time reaction, here it is. Also, when I got back, my character was shaking like he saw a ghost, so I'm not really sure what was up with that. I ended up cheating my stuff back into existence and tried to pick up where I left off. Remember at the beginning of the game when I mentioned 2 startling discoveries? Well, this is the second one. I noticed that in the fortress none of the blazes were dropping rods, and this made me realize a problem. Blazes need to be killed by players, otherwise they will not drop a rod on death. Unfortunately, since the explosions from my rockets aren't directly from me, it does not count, and I cannot get Blaze Rod. This means that no, it is not possible to beat Minecraft with a rocket launcher. In case you were curious, I did go to the end to kill the dragon, but the launcher would not work. As soon as the arrows touched the dragon, they simply exited the plane of existence. Regardless, that is all I have for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.